Yeah,
Oh shit.
we
Okay,
are
hold on.
live. Okay, have to count for 7 seconds. Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are having a fantastic night. For today, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite mutant series, X Men. Movies, comics, games, board games, alternate realities, and whatever the hell Bob identifies as this week. Um,
And
so
also, I
yeah,
think Anna, that Star Wars girl, also. Sorry, I'm very sorry about
no
that.
worries. She calling you?
No. That was my thing. Sorry, it's something from Common Writer.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
but
I identify as Bon Night Dairy.
hey
Anna,
George.
that Star Wars girl, she apparently for a time identified herself as a mutant.
X Fact nerds. Wow.
Yeah, we're. Oh God, not the X Factor. No, I'm not going to sing in front of Simon. Oh, my first song.
Oh,
What?
My first
Potato?
song.
What in God's name was that?
I'm sorry, I shit myself. But anyway,
Get out! God, I can smell it from here. Get out!
so anyway, just letting you know if you hear barking in the background, that is my dog, and he is stupid. Okay, so
okay then.
well, it's true. Uh, okay, so everyone. What do you prefer? Movies, games? Like, I'm gonna let you. Like, we're all going to talk about like our different stuff. Cause I honestly I love the X Men, but for me, my biggest exposure to the X Men have been the TV shows and the movies. Some good, some.
Ditto.
I only watched the two of the movies and I was checked out. The 90s TV show I definitely watched, played a fair amount of the games, and was into some of the comics along. My brother was the huge X-Men guy, but he couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah. What about you, Jetsparks?
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching. I think my very first exposure to the X-Men was the original movie that came out in 2000. I think we rented it on VHS, but I've also watched I didn't watch the 90s X-Men cartoon. I barely remember even watching it. I mean, but again, it was before my time. The show came out before my time when it was first airing. But I remember watching the reruns of X-Men Evolution.
Yeah, I remember X Men Evolution, and there was also this weird X Men Wolverine anime.
Wolf, or
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
X-Men
yeah.
Anime. And then you got another one series.
Which one was X-Men Evolution?
It was the one where
Evolution.
it was the one where most of the X-Men,
the well-animated one.
like Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde were all kind of aged down to be teenagers.
Was it the one where Rogue was rolling around in like a mesh top and a mini skirt?
Yeah, Goth Rogue.
I
Yeah,
love X-Men Evolution. Yeah, X-Men Evolution
I
rocks.
saw some of that.
yeah, that's probably the best. That's probably one of the best interpretations of Rogue in all of X-Men media,
Well,
where she
I'm
kind
going
of
to.
gothic.
I am going to fight on this. The best depiction of Rogue is from the original X Men cartoons. She
Yeah, true. I mean, a lot of people definitely.
Yeah, 90s Rogue, because that's pretty much how she looked in a lot of the comics back then.
I'm just saying, if they could find an actress that looks like '90s Rogue but's willing to dress like X-Men Evolution Rogue, I'm game.
Don't.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people. Heck, I think like this channel MXR some plays. I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I think his girlfriend showed showed off some cosplay she had, and he couldn't even like recognize that was was Rogue. He couldn't even recognize her.
To be fair, Torshi, I liked X-23 before Marvel decided to fuck her up.
Yeah. So L what about you and Bubba? You as well?
X-Men Revolution, X-Men High School Angst.
That'd actually be a good name for a show, X-Men Revolution.
Yeah, but I think we also had an original character in X-Men Evolution called Spike, who was apparently the nephew of Storm. Yeah, only Professor X, Wolverine, and Storm were actually adults, while the rest were all teenagers.
Yeah. But
And
okay,
Beast.
so
Beast came on later on. But just to answer the question, I don't have one introduction or one thing. I have consumed all of that media, the movies, the comics, the games, all of it, the television shows. I have all three I've got the 90s X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men on DVD. I am a huge fan of most of this stuff. Now, I will say, I do like the Fantastic Four better than the X-Men, but I do love the X-Men still.
well,
I
yeah,
like when it came to games, I played a bunch of the games, even the shitty games.
Well, X-Men Legends was freaking amazing, though. The forerunner to Ultimate Alliance.
What was that one, Bubba? You might remember this. What was the one X-Men game where you played as one of the 3 characters they made for the game?
Oh yes, X-Men Destiny.
I always played the dude from the Purifiers.
Yeah, he's all right.
yeah. But Owl, what about you?
No.
Hello?
I don't.
Oh, there she
Owl,
is.
He's asking what your how do you know the
Oh, I'm
X-Men?
sorry. When he started talking, it cut out, and then everybody refreshed, and I realized you guys were
Oh.
talking to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what was the question? I'm sorry.
What is your like introduction and stuff like that, and your favorite memories of X-Men?
Of the movies, the my favorite's always been Storm, both in the comic and basically any telling really. I've gotten some comics. I've learned a lot through Geek Hero and everything. Bubba. I've learned a lot through that, and my family was a let's just say a jock family. So I grew up watching football and NASCAR. I didn't grow up watching like the comic shows and stuff.
Yes, because nerds. Nobody likes nerds.
Yeah.
We don't watch nerd shit in this house.
Yeah, we'll yell at the TV when football game doesn't go our way, but heaven forbid you watch an anime or.
I grew up with the weirdest parents. Like my father was a Nam veteran, and my mother was like a fucking dance instructor who loved science fiction and fantasy shit.
So
okay, well
that makes so much sense, man.
Out of context, but
does it?
That answers so many of my questions.
I don't even know what the questions were.
Why are you flammable? How much are you flammable?
I don't think those were any of his questions.
No,
the less you know, Eugene, the better.
No, how a military vet with ties to both the East and the West Coast ended up in where you're at writing a book, man, writing a science fiction book. Like, dude, this makes so much sense.
So, I have a weird take. One of the shows.
What else is new?
I was. Wow. Okay. Fuck you then. One of the shows that.
Oh, fuck you too.
that I really liked.
That way, say hi in Irish.
It was. Actually, there is no hello in Irish.
No, it's usually what are you looking at, you cunt?
Yeah, that's how we tell each other we love each other.
Sorry about that. My Irish roots coming out there.
That also used to be the New York greeting.
Yeah.
Now it's just get out of my way, I'll bite you.
So anyway, one of the things that the shows that I really like, and I am genuinely disappointed it was cancelled, was The Gifted.
Oh.
I'm not familiar with that one.
I love that
sounds
one.
Familiar, but I don't think I've watched that.
That's one. That's one I was watching. That live action one from a couple of years ago.
Okay, so The Gifted was set in it's its own universe, right? But the premise is they are new mutants, but they're very rare, right? And there was some called the Flash that we never knew what happened. Right?
I didn't think the Flash was a mutant.
Well, what? No, it wasn't. They mixed some other continuity from Marvel with it.
I just did that to fuck with him.
Oh, I realize what you mean, but if you don't mind, Potato, okay. So there was an event that they call the Flash that took out that they don't know exactly what happened, and they never got to explain it in the show.
It was a battle between Magneto and Scarlet Witch.
Yes, but they did not. So they did. They kind of mixed some M-Day stuff up in there too, but they never really specified what happened, whether it was really their battle that resulted in this or whether somebody else was interfering. They kept leading it on like some big mystery. But what we do know is that both the X-Men and the Brotherhood disappeared. There weren't even bodies left after the end of this fight. And then a lot of mutants became more and more scarce. Well, in the remaining factors, the factions, that you had the you had what was left of the Morlocks, the ones that called themselves the Resistance, and of course the suddenly I'm drawing a blank. The High Society ones that Sebastian Shaw was a part of, the Hellfire Club. But yeah, anyway, so the Hellfire Club were major players in this as well. So basically, what's left of the mutants are being hunted down by the government, and their Sentinel program. We never got to see any of the big hardcore Sentinels, but we did get to see a lot of robots in that show. Like, it was a very robot-heavy show. I loved how the leaders were all third and fourth stringers, and I love how instead of being dead, the only X-Men that we actually saw, besides Jubilee, the only X-Men that we actually saw was Thunderbird, and in the comics, he's the one that's dead. So I love that.
Dorsey, yes, Krakoa sucks. That doesn't even need to be said.
Okay.
But Bubba, character name, the Asian chick who died and came back at the end, who could teleport.
Yeah, that was Jubilee.
I was thinking that she was Blink or something like that. But so the reason why it
that was Blink. Blink and Jubilee were both in it. I got them mixed up. You're right.
So Blink died, right?
I remember Blink.
Yeah, she died. And then at the end, they were doing something, and all these tears like, whoa, and they turned around because, like, they were going to be killed, right? And Blink walks out, and she's like, "Hey guys," and she has an X-Men costume on, right?
Yeah,
like a brand new X costume, and she's like, "I gotta show you something." And they're like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "Come with me." That was meant to lead on into season 3, right? Which is meant to be like X-Men Resurgence type of storyline.
Yeah.
But the Fox buyout happened, and they just cut it right there.
Well, and bear in mind, Legion was supposed to get it was also on FX. Legion was supposed to get a season 4, and they ended up doing their finale that was going to be the end in season 4. They ended up rushing everything and finishing the series off at the end of season 3 because of the Fox buyout.
Yeah, there were so many comic shows that just stopped because of that. Kind of like the writer's strike. Of course, that was cartoons in general, but I digress.
Yeah, that's all right.
Still a little salty about it, but
we run on tangents on this channel.
One thing I would say, Bub, I
love tangents. That's my favorite thing.
I think you could agree with is it would have been badass to see the Sentinel from fucking the X-Men Children of the Atom game in one of those.
Yes. Which he was a derivative of the one from the end of Acts of Vengeance, the one that Loki supercharged when all the villains found out who was leading them. But that's it would have been great to see that.
You know who else? You know who else gets no love too much anymore?
Bishop.
Spiral.
Yeah, Spiral. Although she did, she was in Wolverine and the X-Men.
And Bishop gets hosed. Cable gets screwed a lot too. Honestly.
Yeah.
The only time we ever got him was in Deadpool.
Yeah,
Deadpool
movies.
I will say this: I love in The Gifted. We got to see Sunspot. We got to see Polaris. We got to see Mist. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of them.
Yeah, then they tried to do that New Mutant show.
Yeah.
Torcy, I'm not going to talk about
that movie could have been a lot worse though.
Yeah, also, one thing I want to highlight with Torcy is like this thing with the X-Men musical. The only time when I think of a musical, another Marvel, was that god awful Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark musical that obviously ended in tragic outside. Like that
that poor schmuck.
All I imagine is Hugh Jackman walking out and singing "It's a sentinel around the corner, la la la."
And see, my thing with me, I came into X-Men kind of in a weird way anyway.
Yeah.
Because I first came into Marvel Comics with the Punisher's first appearance in Spider-Man.
So how I got there was also weird. We had a very hungover history teacher, right?
Wow.
That's a good start to the story.
Yeah, it's Ireland.
Really?
But, yes.
That upside down kiss in Spider-Man 1? Really?
Dude.
So
jeez, Torcy.
We were there. Now, I had watched the cartoons growing up, right? And Ireland's not a very nerd-friendly country, right? Yeah, especially back when I was a wee hobbit. And so and our teacher came out and he's like, right, he said, I'm going to throw on this video. And it rolled in the thing and he brought out a video and showed on. And it was the first X-Men movie. We had to watch it and not speak to him.
What?
As he sat at the top of the class in a dark corner with sunglasses on at 9 a.m.
Boy. That sounds suspicious.
He probably had a very good weekend because it was Monday. But I was there. Now, the first scene that sticks with me from the very first X-Men movie, right? Do you remember when the senator died and turned into water?
Yeah.
It was more like Gloop, but yeah.
Yeah, Senator Kelly. Yeah, Senator Kelly.
Yeah, it was weird.
Played by Bruce Davison. Yeah.
Wait, what?
It was like hagfish slime or something.
Yeah.
I never really did that though.
Yeah, but
he didn't turn into slime.
No, we're talking the question that popped up on the screen there.
Yeah, but he got.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the question.
He got very elastic, but when he got wet, yeah, it caused his molecular structure to become unstable, and he just dissolved into water because all the water got into his system.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and partially in regards to Torchy.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is I came into Marvel Comics with the issue of Spider-Man where the Punisher first appeared, and the Punisher was what actually got me into Marvel Comics. I own so many of those fucking collected comics. I have boxes of Punisher fucking comics.
Right, I could genuinely see you pulling off a decent Punisher cosplay.
Yeah, I'm too fucking old. I ain't got the right build, brother.
So is he, dude.
Punisher, 5 of them. There's only been one blade. There's only gonna be one blade.
But I came in with that, and I ran into the X-Men initially in the 90s with the show.
Yes.
The old cartoon show, and then I got into the comics by extension, and then I kind of bounced between like keeping up with the X-Men comics and the Punisher comics at the same time. And then I kind of bounced around to DC, where I kind of got in with like Deathstroke and Wonder Woman and Batman. And I know about the video games. And then I got in around the same time into X-Men Children of the Atom, that arcade game, the Punisher arcade game, X-Men versus Street Fighter, and Marvel Superheroes, which came out all around the same period of the 90s in the arcades.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember those because I remember being in pubs as a kid and there was like these X-Men beat 'em up games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was actually a decent game.
Yeah, I actually played the X-Men arcade game on the Xbox 360 back when I was still friends with some people who I'm no longer on speaking terms.
Yeah, that's when they did that that digital re-release of the arcade game.
I have a question for all of you, and this has bugged me for years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the universe of X-Men, you're born, let's say for talk's sake that I'm born with electric powers, right? I can control the elements and have electricity. I'm hunted by Sentinels, I'm on the run, I'm hated, right? Fire finds a magic bracelet, puts us on, Fire gets the exact same powers as me. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
that was meant, because you got to remember that the guy who came up with the X-Men was an old Jewish man.
Yes.
And a lot of what he did for entertainment's sake, but he also did it as kind of a vague education thing.
Social commentary.
And the issue was,
keep in mind.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
All I was going to say is this same man decided that mutants weren't quote unquote human, so he didn't have to pay the tariffs to ship the action figures. So that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, but that wasn't the key.
But I get what you're saying too.
That wasn't the key reason for it.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I know.
The key reason.
That's why I was like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were doing it as analogs in real life, and the thing is, it all came down to the fact that somebody who became empowered through a means that was easier for people to understand tended to be more well regarded than somebody who was born with powers that nobody understood how they got them.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we know, Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider. Bruce Banner was hit by gamma rays. The Fantastic Four were exposed to cosmic rays, and they gained superpowers.
Nice.
The X-Men were born with powers, and I think Honest Trailers made it have sense. Because again, I'm pretty sure we all know in the larger scheme of the Marvel Comics universe, all these characters all exist in the same universe, don't they? Yeah.
Well, and bear in mind though, the answer to the question is that it's different. Like you said, like Farb was saying, it's different being told somebody got a magic amulet versus being said, we're now obsolete. This is the next step in our human evolution. Yeah. And it added fear.
You've got powers.
Yeah.
So it's also that fear of the unknown. People who are afraid of these powers are like, this person was just a person. Could that happen to me?
And of course,
my neighbor isn't that kind of shit.
And of course, Days of Future Past touches on that when they're going through the when they're in the future, when Kitty Pryde is walking through the entire cemetery block, and you see everyone from Captain America to most of the Fantastic Four, because suddenly humans distrusted anybody with powers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to a friend in college, and he agreed with me. Statistically, right, there had to be at least one ultra powerful mutant born with severe special needs who couldn't control their powers. And then the thing is, what do you do with them? I'm talking Omega level mutant.
The Phoenix, Jean Grey / the Phoenix.
No, I'm talking about someone. Let's say someone, an adult with the IQ of a 2-year-old, right?
What?
I'm talking statistically, just a special needs adult with mutant powers. What do you do with that?
Seal it away until you can teach it not to do terrible things.
Yeah, and there are several answers to that. All of them harsh, none of them particularly right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Well,
them in prison, study their
what I would do is try to have a psychic, someone like Professor X, or later on when she's on their side, Emma Frost, try to communicate with this individual on a emotional, primitive level, mentally, but then again, that's invasion of the mind. So you gotta. I mean, there are on something like that. There are no good. That it's a situational ethics kind of situation at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, like I said,
Hey, Kusri.
because apparently I think they made it clear that there's a massive difference between having superpowers and having mutant powers. Like,
hey, Kusri, if you want, you can hop in.
There are a lot of morally gray options. Yes, Kusri, you're absolutely right. It's part of the whole thing with the X-Men, you know? There's no easy answers to some of the things that are brought up in this series.
Yeah, exactly. Like, which is one of the good things, like, Storm, for talk's sake, was originally viewed as a god.
Yes, in Africa. And she was probably, in some circles, she was actually married to the Black Panther.
Yes. Currently, she's divorced from him and they have a child together. Right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But
Marvel can't stand to leave characters married anymore.
Marvel can't stand to leave Peter Parker happy.
Publicity stunt.
Like, someone put out a thing, and they said all the instances of Peter Parker being happy followed abruptly afterwards. Peter Parker got the wife, the kid, the friends who accepted him as Spider-Man, and all of a sudden, I believe it was Mephisto, turned around and it's like, you have to wish all of that away.
No. It was written even worse than that. Parker, because his Aunt May died, and that's how shittily this storyline was written. He made a deal with Mephisto to lose everything to save his Aunt May, who was going to die anyway. But he did it because they were stupid asses and decided to write this fucking dumbass story.
Like, did they not turn around and be like, dude, you're going to save a 78-year-old woman?
You're going to give up your wife, your child, your life
for your
aunt. In the movie, she was only like 28.
That was a terrible movie.
Yeah,
I'm just joking. I'm just.
Marissa Tomei's like in her.
She kept getting younger and younger the more they kept.
I mean, just making it.
Oh yeah, Marissa Tomei.
Too.
Well, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, she was probably the most attractive of the portrayals of Aunt May. She was like the youngest one, but yeah.
Say what you will.
Well, I mean, come on, it's that actress.
Say what you will about the Raimi Spider-Man movies. Aunt May was about the age she was supposed to be in those movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
she was.
Like, but I really did like Days of Future Past.
Okay.
Honestly, I like the idea of
comic or otherwise
movie.
Okay.
Earth X.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I liked it because I wasn't too involved in the comics, but
I didn't like it as much as the comic, but it was a good movie in my opinion.
Yeah. And you know what? That's fair, Torshi. That is Bruce Banner being kind of based. Sorry, but it's true in that context.
But go ahead.
Like, it gives a lot of things, like, because Wolverine had lost absolutely fucking everything, right? Goes back in the past to when everyone, his friends and all that, was alive. The dude, goes to show, like, as much of a dick as Wolverine is, what type of person he is, because he did do what
actually before most of them were alive.
Well, yeah, but like
a twinkle in my father's eye.
Yeah, but he turned around and he went and he saved everyone, right?
Yeah.
But the Wolverine of that time, when it's like, oh no, I lose connection, and it goes back, it's nearly like, oh crap, where am I now? Because like the guys are like, so Wolverine, what? Logan, as he's there losing everything, but what he didn't do, and he could very clearly have done, is asked Xavier to have a look into his mind and tell him his past, because that version of him did not have the weapon X to lose his memory.
Mountains. Good to see you, Mountains. Sorry you can't hang out for too long, but appreciate you coming by.
Yeah. Kusri says, me and my brother, I used to watch him so often.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, what's that now?
But just are we still going to continue on? But because I want to get on to another point that Torshi made, that is somewhat related to X-Men, but it's also kind of not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a syndicated TV show called Mutant X.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I have that one on DVD as well. That was a year 2000 thing. Very much a product of its time.
Yeah, again, even then it's like you mix somewhat X-Men with the Matrix and stuff like that. There's like so much stuff that it
was set in a world where the X-Men exist, but those those mutants,
pop culture references for the win.
They were a result of genetic manipulation.
Yeah, and that was the whole point. They weren't like the regular mutants, but they were persecuted like the regular mutants. So they had to figure out that was kind of their own thing. I have the comic book tie-in to that, where the Doctor meets Professor X, and it's that's basically what sets the tone for it. He's trying to do the same thing Professor X is, but they both got their own brand of persecuted mutants.
Yeah, exactly the point. But I know, like I said, originally Adam Kane, the Doctor who helped create the New Mutants, was originally called Adam Zero.
Yeah,
I think in the development stage, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have the four core Mutant X characters. You have Brendan Mulray, played by Victor Webster. You have Forbes March, who plays Jesse Kilmartin. Victoria Pratt as Shalimar Fox, and you have the best one and obviously the most gorgeous one of all, the most gorgeous of the women is Lauren Lee Smith as Emma DeLauro.
I don't know any of that.
Going to say something.
I want to answer a question real quick.
Go ahead, of course.
In 2004, Torshi, I kind of had fallen out of the X-Men a little while. Because in the 2000s, I was kind of going through a rough patch where I didn't get to read much of anything. I was kind of broke and trying to figure out what the fuck was going on with my life at that point. And then I got into the military again right after that. So I was kind of out of comics in general for a while in that time period. So I didn't get to read that. I'm not really sure I know anything about it.
So I honestly think Legion is ridiculous.
Explain.
Legion is 1,000 souls in one body.
Oh no, I meant how the ridiculous came in. Sorry.
Yeah, the character of the show
was tripping.
The character. No, it's how do you write somebody with 1,000 souls inside them?
Well, they did a pretty good job in Doom Patrol.
Well, I mean, wasn't he Xavier's son? Like, I mean, that's a lot of problems just there. Like, I mean.
Okay,
Torshi, I'll be real with you.
I get what you're saying, though.
But his powers
that's a lot of people.
Hold on, guys, 1 second.
I was trying to answer. Torshi, I'll be real with you on that one. I didn't like almost any of the Marvel Ultimates universe stuff. Most of it irritated me. How they?
Oh yeah, I didn't like any of it.
They race swapped Nick Fury. They fucking changed a bunch of shit with the X-Men. They changed a bunch of shit with Spider-Man. I didn't like almost.
It was way too intense. It was like a soap opera. Telenovela.
But yet now it's got nostalgia to it, and a lot of people are happy that they brought a little bit of it back. But that's the biggest problem, because most of the Ultimates, yes, it was really edgy for its time, but now it's just kind of normal, and that's really sad about how we've come as a society.
Well, at this point, it's almost reasonable, because modern Marvel is nothing but a bunch of bullshit, bad writing, political messaging. Sure. There's nothing to it anymore.
Emma Frost turned the Iceman gay.
Bobby Drake, and yes, she did, and that was incredibly stupid. And that's
no. Jean Grey did that.
Jean Grey did that to him.
Yeah, sorry, Jean Grey. But when Emma Frost went to turn him back, right? She's like, "Oh, I can
make it worse."
He turned around and said, "No, I am better. My life has improved." It's like, fuck off.
That's called writers with an agenda, is all that is.
He is now married to the Emperor of the Universe.
Yeah, that sounds like Stockholm Syndrome to me.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you recruit writers off of Tumblr.
It's like in that movie when, what is it, Chicken Little, where the Foxy Loxy gets brainwashed, and her and the pig are singing the "Don't go breaking my."
When they did that shit with Bobby, there was plenty of people complaining because Bobby Drake had been chasing after Rogue for fucking years.
And even in the movies, they were something of they were a bit of an item in
Rogue and Pride,
the movie universe, and then suddenly Bobby starts going after Kitty Pryde.
I have a question, right? And I know Farv, you're not a fan of it, but I'm not talking about Deadpool himself. What did you think about the mutants in Deadpool? Like the other mutants?
I didn't watch it, dude, so I don't really.
Yeah, I know.
They only had like 30, and they kept making jokes about it.
Yeah, but one like Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I thought they did well. I liked them.
I did as
well.
I
liked the relationship between Wade and the girlfriend. They were always like, "Hi, Wade," or "Hi, Suki." That was a cute touch.
Here's the thing, too.
But I mean, I
understand. I don't have an issue with Deadpool per se. I liked some of his comics. I played that one game that came out for him.
I'm talking about
PS3. I just couldn't with the movies.
That's what I'm talking about.
And one thing I'll say, when it comes to mutants, outside of the original Xavier's X-Men, I'm really particular. I think the only mutant I've ever paid much attention to, which half of you probably don't even remember, who was outside of the X-Men, was fucking Bushwhacker.
Who? So
he was a CIA assassin.
Yes, I do know who Bushwhacker was.
Introduced during the Punisher, and he was killing off mutants for a good long while before he realized he actually was one.
It's oh crap! Well, this is awkward. So I saw a very brilliant thing where Michael Fassbender was talking, and someone said, "Why did they not bring Magneto into the MCU?" Right? And he said, "Are you high?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" He said, pointed out all the characters who every single person uses metal. Said all he does is Magneto just walks out, stands there, is like, okay, everything's over. Bloody Thanos had a metal helmet on his head. Crush his chest piece. Now,
or crush the gauntlet, or just crush and take the gauntlet.
I will have you know they tried that in the comics and it didn't go well for Magneto.
Yeah, but in the movies, Thanos is kind of nerfed, to be honest.
It kind of had to be if the movie was gonna work.
Yeah,
and also the thing
never got the Thanos copter.
Yeah, but another thing about he had a
Yeah, that's why they gave him that dual sword thing.
Look, dude, in the fucking, there's a lot of dumb shit. Like there was an old Fantastic Four cartoon back in the 70s where Magneto had a little helicopter car thing and literally wore a really dumb outfit and a dopey ass helmet.
Yeah.
I'm not even fucking making that shit up.
And don't ever forget the Casey Kasem cartoon where he puts on a ring and turns into the Thing. Thing ring, do your thing. Yeah. No, that was or the Fantastic Four show that for some inexplicable reason the Human Torch didn't exist and the fourth member was the robot Herbie.
That's the same one they did that shit with Magneto in.
Oh yeah, and they gave him
a fucking cartoon.
Yeah, and that bluff that Mr. Fantastic pulled, where he made him think he lost his powers by using the wooden gun. Yeah, no, but let me say, kind of like that, or the Red Brown Captain America movies and stuff, which should have been called Son of Captain America. But the point is that despite how weird and comically inaccurate these movies and cartoons were, the fact still remains there was some heart behind them. Versus the stuff we get today.
You mean the Roger Corman?
No, that was also yes. I'm including that in this. I loved the 1995 Roger Corman movie. I have a bootleg copy of it that I got off. Anyway, that it never got released, and I wanted to watch it. I found it. It is in my collection. I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm going to say an idea that I have for Magneto, right? Given his original origins as a Holocaust survivor,
Mm-hmm.
I would have two ideas, right? One, you change it that he is not a Holocaust survivor, but he is a survivor of a pogrom from the Soviet Union, right? He still has a traumatic backstory. You can say that he was raised in a gulag, right? It's more time wise.
I don't think that works as well just because
It's not
Magneto's
as well.
own views on humanity are in such stark contrast to what he lived through. That's really kind of what makes it work for him as a villain.
Yeah.
Okay, and then your other idea.
My other idea is you have it stated that one of Magneto's secondary he has two mutations, right? And his secondary mutation is a really long lifespan. It goes, which makes me age really slowly. That way, you can cast an actor in his 30s, right? Which gives
No,
that kind of sounds like a bit of a stretch.
But you could still cast an actor that's in like their 50s or 60s, make him look a little older. I mean, and I like that idea. I like giving him a longer life. Make it have something to do with the magnetism. He doesn't even need a secondary power. But even in the comic books, he originally had mental abilities that he could not. Okay, so he had psychic abilities in the original continuity that put him. He was not able, for instance, to be controlled by Professor X. He could not stop him from reading his mind, but he was able. Yeah, he was able to keep Professor X from being able to fully take over his mind. So they could incorporate that.
Wasn't part of that supposed to be what the helmet was about?
Yes.
No. So the helmet kept Charles from being able to read his mind at all. However, it also kept him from being able to use his psychic abilities as long as he had the helmet on. So it was a double-edged sword.
Huh. So, okay. So let's ask, including the audience, right? If anyone could, if we're making a good movie, let's not even say MC, we're just saying a good mutants movie. Okay? Who would you like to star in it who's not one of the overused characters?
If we're talking, see, here's the thing. I don't know. Because the X-Men as a group are kind of a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying mutants.
I don't know. I mean, there's some that are kind of cool that don't get a lot of time.
I feel like I don't know enough.
Like Marrow, for example.
Yeah.
Has kind
been both a Morlock and an X-Men.
You know what you could do? You could use a smaller character to introduce everyone else.
Like Guido, strong guy. I fucking love him.
Well, we could do something gross and make like a horror X-Men and do like Maggot or something.
That's what they could bring Maggot in, but they tried the horror X-Men.
Yeah, that's the only name I know.
Yeah, but that was the whole point that movie you just mentioned earlier, the New Mutants. They used that as a horror movie. So they've already tried that and it failed miserably.
Oh, I didn't know that was supposed to be horror. I didn't watch that one.
That was supposed to be a horror movie. That was fucking awful. I
didn't hate the movie, but the marketing didn't even exist. Then it got postponed a dozen times, and it's still not a good movie. Even if you don't hate it, it still doesn't make it good.
Lately, horror has been more thriller with some comedy in it. It's not really
or just
horror anymore. I'm not saying gory horror.
Two different things.
So far, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna say, if you wanted to do something more like serious and horror inspired, there's characters you could do that with. I mean, like the ones she mentioned, but then there's like some of the ones that used to be Morlocks. There's fucking people like Marrow. Marrow uses her own bones as fucking weapons for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, there's plenty.
You know, so you could just do some crazy shit with that.
Yeah, and they basically changed him into Spike for the X-Men Evolution cartoon.
Chamber.
To the academy, she hung out with Wolverine. Was the junior X-Men? and she got her own team eventually. I would do something even more like that. We don't know the X-Men exist in this universe, and then at the end of it, he discovers the X-Men.
Yeah, but that would require you writing an entirely new character, and you never know how people are going to respond to that.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, we already know in the X-Men movie universe, they did Jubilee dirty so many times.
They make her a girl. Her entire personality is a woman.
Well, here's the problem too with the. I'm gonna be real. One of the biggest problems I had with the original X-Men movie, as much as I love Rogue, is they completely borked Rogue's backstory, and that should have been Jubilee.
Yeah,
well, they merged. They merged the two.
I mean, the only thing about Rogue is
they merged the two characters. They did that with a lot of them in those movies.
They shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, mythologists hate him. This man uses maggots
that joke about Magneto.
Eliminate wrinkles.
And that actually, I liked the first movie, but that bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah, it was all about Wolverine, and then it was all about Rogue.
That should have been Jubilee, and Rogue didn't even start with the fucking X-Men. She was a member of the Brotherhood, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't care about that. They were just like, hurry, movie.
All they give her no touching power, but again, we already know in the comics she has flight and super strength, and she got that from Miss
That's
Marvel.
because she got those off.
She stole them from Carol Danvers.
Yeah. Who apparently in the MCU she also stole her acting ability and personality.
We don't talk about Carol Danvers in the MCU because Carol Danvers doesn't exist in the MCU. That's not who that character was.
Yeah, but you know, the reboot X-Men movies, right? Like Days of Future Past, they started off good.
Yes.
It was you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, and then it went weird when they killed off Darwin, the man who is technically unkillable. When he went up against the fight against the Hulk, his body.
Well, and then they implied there were so many that died that they implied they were about to bring them back or clone them, etc. Whatever. Insert movie loophole here.
Basically,
they didn't. And then it ended up basically being all about Mystique and how Mystique is misunderstood, and she's actually a good guy. She's just misunderstood.
Mystique at her best was a mercenary.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were pushing the actresses really hard.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it was probably a contract thing, like, oh, they can't be the bad guy.
Yeah, with the first class thing, Mystique's or at least Jennifer Lawrence's portrayal, she flip flops around too much with her character.
But that was the writing, not her.
Exactly. I mean,
Padawan says, don't get me started on Rogue Wolverine stuff in the first movie.
Exactly.
We comic fans waited decades to get Wolverine's real name and Rogue's too. They gave him it up in the first movie.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. But bear in mind, when that movie came out, I was 9 years old, and all I cared about at the time was it's the motherfucking X-Men.
I was 5 when that movie was a thing.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lawrence, right? Well, in the
Rebecca
advertisement for Age of Apocalypse on one of the posters had Jennifer Lawrence up by the neck, right? Jennifer Lawrence and all the other screeching harpies lost their shit about it.
I don't remember who the fuck Jennifer Lawrence is.
Jennifer Lawrence is
Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, from the Hunger Games. Yeah,
Hunger Games.
The first ever female action star. Just ask her.
Apparently,
the opposite of Kirsten Stewart. She does everything she does, but she's praised for it.
That is true, Kusri.
A lot of them, yes, they do, Kusri. A lot of them do.
But
I missed it.
A lot of new characters just get compared to OCs on DeviantArt.
Yes.
So basically, the poster was Apocalypse, the bad guy, holding a Mystique up by the neck, right? And then everyone complained because they said how it was sexist.
Yes, of
now,
course.
Apocalypse doesn't give a fuck what gender you are.
Exactly.
Jennifer
Of course,
Lawrence.
it's all about something bullshit about a man dominating a woman. He's
Yeah.
the villain. He's trying
Yeah,
to
this
kill
gender is
her.
my
Lawrence.
entire personality.
Also got
I'm just a
so
big
they had this
meathead.
whole thing about Mystique learning to accept herself, her blue identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
her to stop using it because Jennifer Lawrence didn't like getting into the makeup. And she didn't like
brother.
Oh,
Fuck
boy.
off.
That makes
Rebecca
sense.
Romaine had full body fucking paint on.
If Jim Carrey
Yeah.
if Jim Carrey could get through the Grinch, none of these other people have anything to fucking whine about.
And
Well,
hell,
it's like
it-
Star
it-
Wars,
it
where
was-
Alan
it was
Tudyk
like
just was in the motion suit, and the other
it
guy
was
was
like
like, "Well,
Doug
that
Jones.
sucks."
Yeah.
I mean, look at Doug
Sorry, go
Jones and
ahead.
all the characters he's had to portray, and he's done it with layers of makeup on him.
Yeah.
The man has done some of the most remarkable performances ever, and he's done it in prosthetic makeup.
Like,
Well, keep in mind she was kind of new at the time. I think that was only like her third, fourth, like serious
And
movie.
I'm gonna be that guy. Her being new is all the more reason she shouldn't have had the grounds to be raising this kind of a bitch fit.
so I have a weird question.
Well, I
especially-
But she
agree
was
both
coming-
sides. I'm
yeah,
just
but
saying.
she was coming off the Hunger Games, so they had to treat her like a big star.
Oh, fuck the
Yeah.
Hunger
What
Games,
did you think
man.
of Nightcrawler?
Hunger
Yeah,
Games was a dog shit series anyway.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well,
make-
yeah,
it
but
didn't make-
money
it didn't-
talks.
The Song and Snakes
But-
movie didn't make any sense either. I didn't want to really watch these things.
Or,
but-
what did you think of Nightcrawler?
Oh god.
In which one?
In the
Which
movies?
iteration?
The movies.
Oh god, it's been so long. Was he in the first movie?
He was
No,
there.
he was in the second movie.
Yeah.
I liked him because he
I
was
only
obnoxious and he could teleport. But
only
keep in
watched
mind, when I
part-
saw the first two movies, I knew little to none about the comics.
What's that?
Okay,
Oh yeah.
let me explain what's up. When I came into the first X-Men, as much as I thought the movie was cool, I was already kind of irritated because of how much shit was different. How they had Rogue where
Yeah.
Jubilee should have been. Rogue's
Yes.
story was all fucked up. But bearing in mind what I said earlier about where I came in with the Punisher, I was already kind of in a bad mood about movie adaptations because I'd seen the first Punisher movie, which was a fucking disaster.
Oh yeah, I never
Yeah.
saw that.
It was the one
okay.
with Dolph Lundgren living in the sewers.
So they made
Oh,
Nightcrawler, right?
yes.
An ultra Catholic, and I don't know why the man
Yeah.
isn't a bloody priest at that stage.
I
like-
don't
He
know.
was a Catholic, and then he was like, "Yeah, I don't care," and then he was just whatever, and then he was.
No, so in the Catholic Church, there's a very strict and version called Opus Dei, right?
Yeah.
He makes Opus Dei people turn around and go, "Dude, calm down." He notches himself for each of his sins,
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
and it's like, if each of the dude, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's explained in the second movie in X2. Yeah.
yeah, that's weird, dude. That's not normal. Like,
Yeah,
that-
see, I'm
but then-
tired
but
of
then when you
movies
look-
being
then
like,
when you
"Oh,
look
we'll
at
explain it in the
devil-
next one," and then they never get it next one.
You look- go ahead.
Self-flagellation is an extreme thing, even in older versions of religion.
It is, but he made it a pretty pattern.
Yeah, will it be
also,
extreme
that-
so you remember
It
it?
doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
but-
I mean, seriously, like the first Clash really, it's supposed to align with the original,
Yeah,
at least the original Singer films. But we already know Kurt is supposed to be the son of Azazel and Mystique.
yes.
Which they've retconned that into hell, but we won't talk about that.
We don't.
I will,
Yeah, there's a lot of
I will say,
Creation
Yeah,
retcons that I just don't. I ignore.
Mhm.
I will say, I liked him. I liked him in X-Men 2. When they brought him back in Age of Apocalypse, they really did him dirty. Like
Yeah,
that actor,
I mean,
that was not that
Alan-
actor's fault. He did
I
everything they
remember
told him to do.
And Alan,
Yeah.
Alan
Before we
Cumming did a
wrap
great
it up-
performance with him.
Yeah.
Just sucks
I would
that,
like
you
to
know.
see. Go put Favre in the middle because I want to watch his face explode. Favre, oh Favre, my friend. I'm about to tell you the current canon for Nightcrawler.
Potato, why would you do this?
I
Potato.
already know. You're
Only
not
pain
gonna
and
piss me
misery will you
off.
find.
I already know.
It's the one where Mystique got.
Mhm.
Yes, Mystique
I
is
already
his
know.
father, and Destiny is his mother.
And here's the thing.
Who was beyond childbearing age by that time.
Remember my complaints about Modern Marvel? This is why I'm not even fucking surprised. I knew about this months ago, and I just rolled my eyes because everything in Marvel is queer-coded, LGBTQ baiting bullshit at this point.
Yeah, something coded.
So, given the time,
Reach bait.
We're going to wrap it up. So tomorrow, we should, unless something happens, be doing a live stream of The First Descendant on my channel. And then on Friday is Kusri's Void, where we will be talking. Me, Kusri, and Bubba will be. Elle, you're invited as well because you're interested. I know that you like anime, right?
Anime.
I normally do, but this one I have no input
This is a musical.
On.
That's why it's called Belle.
I'm not against musicals. Just musical anime doesn't mesh with my brain.
Yeah. But so this one is called Belle, and it's actually very good, right? So we will be doing that on Friday, and then Saturday, me, Old Gamer, and a couple of people from a new guild we're in will be doing Sea of Thieves. So that's me this week. Farv, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, okay. I got a channel called Farvithian Guard. It's a gaming channel for the most part. Occasionally, we do discussions about gaming and entertainment with my brother and I. We stream on Mondays and Thursdays, unless there's a change, at which point I put it up in my community tab, and I also put it up on Twitterix. I'm also the author of this book, The Farvithia Chronicle. There's an Amazon link all over my videos and my front page. The sequel to this is hopefully coming out around February. It's sitting at the copyright office right now. I have to wait to get the copyright certification back before I can finish the publishing process. So within the next couple of months, hopefully the sequel will be on its way out. We'll see.
Lovely.
Well, you'll be in our hearts and minds because that's a process and a half.
Yeah,
Jess,
it is.
You got anything going on, or anyone you want to show?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, one for myself and one for another person. And
go ahead.
I think I'll tell you this other thing when we're off camera. But yeah, I am JetSparks373. I have my own YouTube channel. I have a Twitch channel. I have pretty much most social media except TikTok because screw that.
That's going to be irrelevant soon anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, the only most recent thing I've done, I mean, I had to use StreamYards, but it's given me a bit of a headache. I talked about the review of the reveal of the Switch 2, and I gave my thoughts on it. But also, I want to give a shout out to my friend Bear64 who has a channel. I also want to give out another shout out to other friend Killzone 7772. They are both amazingly good friends of mine. They've stuck through me through thick and thin. I almost think they're almost basically my ride or die buddies at this point in time.
Sweet.
So yeah, I mean, you can both check out both their channels. They have a lot of great content on there. Bears has done live stream, and I think Killzone he recently has done Bully. He's played through Skyrim, and he's currently playing Sonic Adventure DX on his channel. So go check them out and give them both a follow.
Yeah, Bubba, you want to share anyone?
Okay, right now I'm not really up to a whole lot. If you want to watch me argue with people over on X, there I be. But in the meantime, just run this by publicly for a moment. If we had the ideal Punisher, would have Dolph Lundgren's guns, would have Thomas Jane's acting abilities, would have Ray Stevens' level of violence, and would have John Barenthal's story writers, the depth of the story. The problem is each version of the Punisher we've seen on the live screen has been missing 3 out of 4 of those components.
Yeah.
So anyway, there we go.
So okay.
Obviously, I'm super busy. I have so many channels. I'm on X. No, I'm just kidding. Just FYI, Bear did put his link in the chat there, like Bear64, YouTube, etc. So somebody also said, let's see, Torch said Dark Phoenix was bait and switch. I agree. I refused to watch that movie.
I also
Bubba watched that movie, but I refused. Anyway,
I
go
also
ahead.
agree with Torchy that Nocturne is real. She better.
Sorry, Torchy.
So we've all.
I don't know. I read, not pronounce.
On YouTube, he's just starting out. Please go and check him out. The Oldest Gamer 1. We've also got the Eclectic Goat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see what I can do.
He's a good guy as well.
Ooh, made it to an hour.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
So, and I will correct that because you cut out real bad. The Eclectic Goat does videos on older movies. She has a gaming tabletop gaming stream she does. You'll definitely want to check her out. And whoever you were trying to promote after Goat, you cut out, and we only got the tail end of it.
It was the Oldest Gamer 1.
Okay, there we go.
Gamer 1. Okay.
He said does a lot of Fortnite stuff, and also he will be he joins us every now and then, and he will be joining us for Sea Thieves on Saturday. Join us next Tuesday for a Terminator quiz, as I lose all points. And
well, that's okay. I know nothing, so we'll see if
I may know a good chunk of things, maybe.
Yeah.
Torchy, I have nothing for you on that one.
Yeah, I know that the guy that played the second one didn't blink because he thought it would be like
Dude, we
scary.
can do a second one and talk about like things like that in the second X-Men.
Fair enough.
But so that will be led by Princess Rennie, and yeah. So good night, God bless everyone. Stay safe.
Torchy had a question.
He already addressed that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed that one.
That's all right. No worries.
Okay, so good night, God bless. Stay safe. And remember, whatever you do, go and annoy someone.
But
make sure they're annoyed and they're pissed off at you.
Yeah, someone said everybody wears glasses. I don't. Yay. Peace to me as well.
He's giving me shit about something. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Fair enough. I mean, everybody
I don't have any problems annoying people.
Yeah. Okay.
Wear sunglasses. Love you.